Hello students, welcome to CET SANKALP classes. Today we are going to start a new topic called wave optics. So before we go with MCQs, let us discuss the synopsis related to this particular chapter. Here we are going to have the three different topics. One is interference, diffraction and polarization. So we are going to see it part by part. So first we'll see with the introduction to wave optics and interference. So as you know that before the wave optics, we studied about the ray optics, and the ray optic tells about the properties of light. The wave optics deals with the nature of light and interaction of light with matter. So basically, you can say the experimental facts we are going to consider to study the nature of light. In that, first we are going to say about rectilinear propagation of light. That is, light travels in a straight line. Reflection of light, refraction of light, interference, diffraction, polarization, photoelectric effect. So these are the nature of the light we will be we would have already studied. So now we are going to study about the theories of light. So theories of light, we have like 5 theories of light. One is the corpuscular theory. So that was developed by the Sir Isaac Newton. Okay, so corpuscular theory, that is we'll be calling it as an corpuscular model developed by Sir Isaac Newton. So here we are going to say that light is emitted in the form of minute particles called corpuscles, which carry energy in the form of kinetic energy. This theory failed because it predicted higher velocity of light in denser medium than in rarer medium. So that's why the second theory was wave theory that was proposed by Huygens. So light propagates in mechanical wave in the form of disturbance through a hypothetical material medium called ether. But the existence of ether material is not confirmed experimentally. That's why this theory also had a drawback. Next, they saw about electromagnetic wave theory and quantum theory. Electromagnetic wave theory and quantum theory. In that theory, they proved that the whatever the requirement, it was filled. Okay, so based on that only our discussion took place. Right. Next, so what is wavefront? So wavefront is nothing but, this is also very important. So wavefront is nothing but locus of points which have the same phase of oscillation, is nothing but locus. That is nothing but locus of points which have the same phase of oscillation, that is nothing but wavefront. The wavefront, we have three different types of wavefront. One is spherical, cylindrical, and plane wavefront. Okay, if it is spherical, when the source of the light is a point source, then the wavefront is a spherical with center at the source. If you have the extended, that is a linear ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. When the source of light is linear, all the points equidistant from the source lie on cylinder. Then wavefront, when the point source or the linear source of light is at very large distance alittandre, then it appears like a plane wavefront. That is very important. So after that, the very important thing is Huygens principle. Okay, Huygens principle is very important. So as you know that it is what is Huygens principle? It is a geometrical construction to explain the propagation of wavefront in the medium and to determine the position of new wavefront. So the principle states like this: each point on the wavefront is a source of secondary disturbance and secondary wavelets originating from these points spread out in all the directions with the speed of wave. The second thing, the new wavefront at any later time is obtained by taking the tangential line in forward direction to all the spheres of secondary wavelets. So this both the statement is very important. The first statement tells that every point on a given wavefront acts as a source of secondary wavelets or secondary waves which travel in all direction with the velocity of light in the medium. The second statement, the position of new wavefront at any instant is a surface touching these secondary waves tangentially in the forward direction at that instant. This is the principle of Huygens. Huygens principle ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. Okay. So next is nothing but your interference. So what is interference? The phenomenon of modification in the intensity of light energy due to superposition of two or more waves. So more two or more waves superposition adre, then you can say there is a modification in the intensity of light energy. That concept we'll be calling it as an interference. Okay, the phenomenon of interference is in accordance with the principle of superposition. So under that we have constructive interference and destructive interference. So constructive interference under the resultant amplitude and the resultant intensity becomes maximum, then you are going to call it as constructive interference. If both are becomes minimum, then you are going to say destructive interference. Okay, so due to the interference of light waves, alternate dark and bright regions are obtained on the screen placed at suitable distance from the sources. These alternate dark and bright regions called interference fringes ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, or we'll be calling it as an bands. So color seen in thin films of oil floating on water on the road, you would have observed. Okay, or in soap bubbles, whatever you can see, there is a pattern that is because of interference only. Okay, next. So if I want to get the sustained interference pattern, sustained andre like continuously, if I want to get the interference pattern, so I'm going to consider for interference, two monochromatic sources must emit waves. So out of that, it should have the same frequency or wavelength, same amplitude, so same phase or constant phase difference. So you should see that the sources must be coherent. Okay, what do you mean by coherent? The two sources which emit light waves of same frequency, same amplitude, and in same phase or with a constant phase difference are called coherent sources. Okay, so that is very important, and you should know about the coherent sources can be obtained in practice by the two methods. One is by division of wavefront, by division of amplitude. Okay, the next important thing is two waves with intensities I1 and I2 interfere with phase difference, then the resultant intensity. So this is very important. And one more thing you have to remember, the intensity is directly proportional to square of the amplitude. So square of the amplitude. So intensity can also be written in terms of amplitude is. Okay, so you have to remember the condition. So delta is equal to, for constructive interference, 5 is equal to 2n pi. ಈಗೇನೇನು highlight ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನಿದು, please make a note of that. These are the formulas you are going to remember. So phase difference is 5 is equal to 2n pi. Path difference is delta is equal to 2n pi by 2, or delta is equal to n lambda. So next, for destructive interference, phase difference 5 is equal to 2n plus 1 pi, or you can also write it as 2n minus 1 ಅಂತಾನೂ ಬರಿಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ 2n plus 1 ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ n starts from 0, 1, 2, 3. If 2n minus 1 ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ it starts from 1, 2, 3 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. That's the difference. Then the path difference is given as 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. Okay, then so if you take the ratio of I max by I minimum is equal to, so this will be the formula, a1 plus a2 the whole square, a1 minus a2 the whole square. Now if the I1 and I2 are the intensities of two waves, then you can say I max by I minimum is nothing but, this is the formula you have to remember in terms of I1 and I2 only. Next, the fringe width is given as beta is equal to lambda d by d, where capital letter D is nothing but distance between the source and the screen. Small letter d is nothing but distance between the two slits. So distance for n bright fringe from the central is nothing but n into beta. N into beta. I hope you have written this. So you have to copy down these things. Whichever I've highlighted, you just copy down. So along with this, you should also know about the Doppler effect. So that we have one numerical. Directly we'll discuss there only. Next. So that was for the bright fringe. Now it is for the dark fringe. It is xn is equal to 2n plus 1 d by d lambda d. So you can write it in terms of beta also. Okay. So I maximum is directly proportional to a plus b the whole square. I minimum is directly proportional to a minus b the whole square. So fringe width can also be called as bandwidth. Okay, so the fringe width depends on wavelength, distance between the screen and the source, and the distance between the two sources. When the whole interference setup is taken into an higher density between like water, the fringe width decreases. You have to remember that. Okay, and this is very, very important. The ratio of width. The ratio of width is given by W1, W2 is equal to I1, I2, that is equal to A1 square minus A2 square. This formula is also very, very important. If beta is directly proportional to lambda, you can say the interference is inversely proportional. So beta 1 by beta 2 is equal to n2 by n1. Okay, so these are the points you have to remember. I hope you are clear with this. So please make a note of this, whatever the highlighted things. So you can say the interference, the phenomenon of the interference is in accordance with the law of conservation of energy. Okay, If white light is used instead of monochromatic light, the interference pattern containing central fringe is white and each bright fringe on either side of it have number of colored fringes within itself. The two interfering waves must propagate in almost the same direction or their wavefronts must intersect at very small angles. So these are the things you have to remember. I hope you are done with that. So we'll start with the first question. Hmm. The wavefront of distant source of unknown shape. So distant source ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So ದೂರದಲ್ಲಿ. So then you can say it is a from the distant source the shape of the wavefront is plane. Wavefront is the locus of all points where the particles of the medium vibrate with the same phase. This is by the definition of the wavefront. Next is a galaxy moves with respect to the Earth so that sodium line of 589 nanometer is absorbed at 589.6 nanometer. The speed of the galaxy is. So this particular question is based on the Doppler effect. What do you mean by Doppler effect? The apparent change in frequency of waves from a source due to the relative motion between an observer and the source is called Doppler effect. So here you can say the velocity is small compared to speed of light. So finally we have the equation or the expression for that is, so delta F by F is equal to delta lambda by lambda is equal to V divided by C. So this is the expression for the Doppler effect they would have given. So based on that only. So now the formula. So you can say the lambda they've given. So this is nothing but lambda. This is lambda dash. So I can consider delta lambda is equal to, right? So lambda dash minus lambda. So then it is 589.6 minus 589. So then the answer is zero point 0.6 nanometer is your delta lambda. So I'll take the equation as delta lambda by lambda is equal to V by C. So I want V is equal to delta lambda by lambda into C. So 0.6 into 10 to the power minus 9 into 3 into 10 to the power 8 whole divided by 589 into 10 to the power minus 9. 10 to the power minus 9, 10 to the power minus 9 get cancelled. So this is nothing but 6 into 3 into 10 to the power 7 whole divided by 589. So this is nothing but 18 divided by 589 into 10 to the power 7. So 0.0305. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3055 into 10 to the power 7 ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು 3 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ 3 meter per second, but 10 to the power 3 can be written as kilo, right? So 305 kilometer per second. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಯರರ್ ಅಂದರೆ 306. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಬಿ ಇಸ್ ದ ರೈಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? Right. Next, astronomical wavelength increases due to the Doppler effect known as. So according to the concept, you have to remember, when the star moves away from the Earth, there is an increase of wavelength. When the wavelength increases, so that is a condition you have to remember. The apparent wavelength is greater than the true wavelength. If the apparent wavelength is greater than the true wavelength, the measured wavelength shift towards the red end of the spectrum. So spectrum you have violet to red. A red end correct shift agate if the apparent frequency is greater than the true wavelength. Okay, so this kind of shift we are going to call it as red shift. So as you can say, the wavelength increases due to the Doppler effect, then you will be having a red shift. So you have to remember that conditions. Okay, right. Next problem. In Young's double slit experiment, a light of wavelength 500 nanometer falls on it. Its split separation is 2 mm and distance between plane of slits and screen is 2 meter. Find the distance of the point on the screen between on the screen from central maxima where the intensity becomes 50% of central maxima. Okay, you have to remember this condition. You have that I is equal to I naught cos square 5 by 2. So as they have told that it will be half andre I naught by 2. The intensity is reduced. So I naught and I naught get cancelled. So cos square under 5 by 2 is equal to root ತೆಗಿಂತೀನಿ 1 by root 2. So 5 by 2 is nothing but cos inverse of 1 by 2 andre cos inverse of 1 by 2. Cos inverse of 1 by root 2 is nothing but pi by 4. So I want 5, 5. So 5 is equal to 1s are 2s are. So 5 is equal to pi by 2. Okay. Next you have the phase difference, path difference, that is delta x is equal to delta 5 into lambda by 2 pi. So I got 5 is nothing but pi by 2 into lambda by 2 pi. So pi and pi get cancelled. So delta x is equal to lambda by 4 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, that is lambda by 4 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So you know that since lambda is directly proportional to beta, so you can write delta x, and it's nothing but x is equal to beta by 4. But beta is equal to lambda d by small d. So lambda ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ, 500 into 10 to the power minus 9 into 2 divided by 4 into 2 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay, so 2 and 2 get cancelled. So ones are 125. So x is equal to 125 into 10 to the power minus 6 meter. So finally you can write x is equal to 125 micrometer. So option D is the right answer. I hope you are clear. Right. Next. Two slits are separated by a distance 0.5 mm and illuminated with the light of wavelength 6000 Armstrong. If the screen is being placed at 2.5 meter from the slits, the distance of the third bright fringe from the center will be. So you have the formula x is equal to n lambda d by d. This is the formula, and n they've given us 3. Since it is a bright fringe, it is so n is equal to 3. So directly you can substitute the values. 3 into 6000 into 10 to the power minus 10 into 2.5, capital letter D is 2.5, whole divided by 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay. So minus 3 ಹೋಯ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ minus 7 ಉಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದೇನಾಯ್ತು, 3 into 6 into 25 into 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power minus 1 into 10 to the power minus 7 ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ whole divided by 0.5 ನ 1/2 ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂತೀನಿ. ಸೊ 2 ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ 36 into 25 into 10 to the power minus 8 ಇದು minus 5 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? Yes or no? So now 36 into 25. So it is 900 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. 900 in 10 to the power minus 5. So it is 9 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter. So our answer ಏನು, x is equal to 9 millimeter. So option D is the right answer. Clear ಆಯ್ತಾ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್? Right. Okay, I'll erase that. Why? Because next problem ನಮಗೆ ಜಾಗ ಬೇಕು. So Young's double slit experiment is first performed in air and then in medium. Okay, it is found that eighth bright fringe in the medium lies where the so I can say the distance is equal ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಈಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ 8 bright fringe, correct? The first perform in the air. So x is equal to n lambda m d divided by d. So again I thought 8 lambda m d divided by d. That is your x ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂತೀನಿ. ಇದು ಮೀಡಿಯಂಗೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇದು ಯಾವುದು, this is nothing but it is for bright fringe ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾವುದು, ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಫ್ರಿಂಜ್. ಆ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಫ್ರಿಂಜ್ the fifth dark fringe ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ x dash is equal to 2n minus 1 divided by 2 lambda a d divided by d. ಸೊ ಆಗೇನಾಯ್ತದು 2 into 5 minus 1 divided by 2. So lambda a d divided by d. So 10 minus 1 9, 9 by 2 is 4.5. So 4.5 lambda a d divided by d. But our condition ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು x is equal to x dash ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. It lies. ಹೌದಾ? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಈಕ್ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದಾ? 8 lambda m d divided by d is equal to 4.5 lambda a d divided by d. d by d cancel ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So you have to take the ratio as lambda a by lambda m is equal to 8 divided by 4.5. So 8 divided by 4.5 is nothing but 1.78, but lambda a by lambda m is nothing but refractive index. mu illandre n anta tagonತೀವಿ. So option C is the right answer. ಇದು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ನೀಟಾಗಿ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? Young's double slit experiment is first performed in air and then in medium other than air. It is found that eighth bright fringe in the medium lies where the fifth dark fringe lies in air. Okay, medium ಮತ್ತು ಅದೆರಡೂ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ದ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಈಗ ರಿಫ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇಂಡೆಕ್ಸ್ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಫ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇಂಡೆಕ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ lambda is based on that we are going to work. Clear? Okay, the next problem. The interference pattern obtained with two coherent light source of intensity ratio n. So they've given I1 by I2 is equal to n anta ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. You know the formula I max divided by I minimum is equal to square root of I1 plus square root of I2 whole divided by square root of I1 minus square root of I2. So ಇದೇನು whole square ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Whole square. This implies, just I'm taking root I1 divide ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. So I1 by I2, this comes under the whole root plus 1 divided by root of I1 by I2 minus 1, the whole square. Okay, but I1 by I2 is nothing but root n plus 1 divided by root n minus 1, the whole square. ಇದನ್ನ ಹಾಗೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಈಗ ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. I max minus I minimum is equal to I max ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಐ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್. ಈಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಐ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಐ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಐ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಮೈನಸ್ 1 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಐ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಐ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ 1 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ root n plus 1 divided by root n minus 1 the whole square minus 1 all divided by root n plus 1 n minus 1 the whole square plus 1. ಈಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, root n plus 1 the whole square minus root n minus 1 the whole square whole divided by root n minus 1 the whole square divided by root n plus 1 the whole square plus root n minus 1 the whole square whole divided by root n minus 1 the whole square. ಸೊ ಇದು ಮತ್ತು ಇದು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಈಗಿನ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ a plus b the whole square. ಅಗೇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ a minus b the whole square whole divided by ಅಗೇನ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು. ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ನಡೆಸ್ಲಾ? ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ನಡೆಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ n plus 1 plus 2 root n minus n plus 1 minus 2 root n whole divided by same thing, n plus 1 plus 2 root n plus n plus 1 minus 2 root n. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈನಸ್ 2 ರೂಟ್ ಎನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮೈನಸ್ ರೂಟ್ 2n ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದೇನು, n ಪ್ಲಸ್ 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ 2 ರೂಟ್ ಎನ್ ಮೈನಸ್ n ಮೈನಸ್ 1 ಪ್ಲಸ್ 2 ರೂಟ್ ಎನ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 2n ಪ್ಲಸ್ 2. ಸೊ n 1 ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್. ಹಾಗೆ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದು 4 ರೂಟ್ n ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 2 ಕಾಮನ್ n plus 1 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 1s are 2s are. So answer is 2 root n divided by n plus 1. That is the answer. So option B. Option B is the right answer. So clear ಆಯ್ತಾ? Okay, so I'll erase completely. Okay, next problem ನೋಡಿ. The intensity ratio of maximum and minimum in an interference pattern produced by two coherent sources of light 9:1. Okay, so you can say that I max divided by I minimum is equal to 9 by 1. Okay, you have the formula I max by I minimum is equal to a plus b the whole square divided by a minus b the whole square. Okay, if I solve that, ಏನಾಯ್ತದು 9 by 1 is equal to a plus b minus whole square ಅಂತ ತೊಗೊಂತೀನಿ. ಆಗ ರೂಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ it becomes 3 by 1 is equal to a plus b minus a minus b. So cross multiply. So 3a minus 3 is equal to a plus b. So 3a minus a is equal to b plus 3b. So ಅದೇನಾಯ್ತು 2a is equal to 4b. 2 ones are 2 twos are. So a is equal to 2b. But you have the formula I1 by I2 is equal to ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ it is proportional to square of the amplitude. So a square divided by b square ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. It is 4b square by b square. b cancel. So it is 4 is to 1 is the answer. 4 is to 1. Clear ಆಯ್ತಾ? Next, two slits in Young's experiment have width in the ratio 1 is to 25. The ratio of intensity at the maxima and minima in the interference pattern is. So you know that intensity is directly proportional to width of slit, and also you can say it is directly proportional to square of amplitude. So from this I can write I1 by I2 is equal to W1 by W2 is equal to A1 square divided by A2 square ಅಂತ ಬರಿತೀನಿ. But already they given the width. This has 1 by 25 is equal to A1 square divided by A2 square. So square root on both the sides ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ A1 by A2 is equal to 1 by 5. So now you know that I max divided by I minimum is equal to A1 plus A2 the whole square divided by A1 minus A2 the whole square. So again ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತೀನಿ. So A1 by A2 plus 1 the whole square divided by A1 by A2 so A1 minus 1 divided by 2. So here it is 1 by 5 plus 1 the whole square divided by 5 minus 1 the whole square. So again I go 6 by 5 the whole square divided by minus 4 by 5 the whole square. Agada 36 by 25 into 25 by 16. 25 get cancel. ಇದು 4 9 4s. So 9 by 4 is the answer. So 9 by 4 is the answer under option C. Clear ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಸಿನಾಪ್ಸಿಸ್ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಯಾವುದು I proportional to width, ಆಯ್ತಾ, that is, and I is also proportional to square of amplitude ಅಂತ ಓದಿದ್ವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಬೇಸಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ರೈಟ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. In a Young's double slit experiment, the intensity ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, the intensity of the light when slit is at a distance lambda, when a slit is at distance lambda from the central is I, from the central is I, what will be the intensity of the distance of the slit is lambda by 2 ಆದರೆ. Okay, first you remember 5 is equal to 2 pi, right? 2 pi by lambda into x. ಇದು phase difference, right? So ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಬಂದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ. ಆವಾಗ 5 is equal to 2 pi ಉಳ್ಕೊಳುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ equation I is equal to, I'll take it as I dash plus I dash plus 2 root of I dash cos 5 ನ cos 2 pi ಅಂತ ಬರೀತೇನೆ. So cos 2 pi is nothing but ಏನು, so cos 2 pi is nothing but 1. ಸೊ ಆಗಿದು 2i dash ಅಂತ ಬರೀತೀನಿ. So 2i dash plus I dash whole square, root square cancel, 2i dash ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So it is I is equal to 4i dash. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು ಲ್ಯಾಂಬ್ಡಾ ಬೈ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದು, x is equal to lambda by 6. 5 is equal to 2 lambda by 2 pi lambda by into x ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. x ಬದಲು lambda by 6 ತಗೊಂತೀನಿ. lambda and lambda get cancel. So ಆಗ 2 pi by 6 ones are 3. It is pi by 3. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಈಗ I 1 ತಗೊಂತೀನಿ is equal to same I dash plus 2 root of I dash cos pi by 3. So pi by 3 is nothing but 1 by 2 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So it is 2i dash plus 2 in I dash into 1 by 2. So 2 and 2 get cancel. ಇದು 3i dash ಬರುತ್ತೆ I1. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಎರಡು ರೇಷಿಯೋ ತೊಗೊಂತೀನಿ. I1 by I2. I is equal to 3i dash divided by 4i dash. I dash cancel. So I1 is equal to 3 by 4i. 5 ಅಂದರೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿ. ಸೊ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? In a Young's double slit experiment, the intensity of the light when the slit is at a distance lambda, first case. Second case, if the slit is at lambda by 2, ಅದೆರಡದು ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, ದ ನ್ಯೂ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿರೋದು ದ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಐ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಐ ಅಂತ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡು ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಏನು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ I1 ಅಂತ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದನ್ನು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಓಕೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಎ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಟ್ from the wavelength, a source of light from the wavelength 5000 angstrom is placed at a one end of the table 2 meter long and 5 mm above its flat, well polished top. The fringe width, okay, the data is in ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ this is nothing but your lambda, this is your capital letter D, and this is your small letter d. So they told you to find beta. So formula is beta is equal to lambda d, lambda d by d. So substitute the values. 5000 into 10 to the power minus 10 into 2 divided by 5 into 10 to the power minus 3. So ಆಗಿದು ಏನಾಯ್ತು? So 5 into 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power minus 10 into 2 divided by 5 into 10 to the power minus 3. 5 and 5 get cancelled. So 10 to the power minus 3 ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಯ್ತಂದ್ರೆ minus 7. So 2 into 10 to the power minus 4 meter. That is your beta. So option B. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ರೈಟ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, two coherent monochromatic beams of intensities I and 4I respectively are superposed. The maximum and minimum intensities in the resulting pattern are okay. You have the equation I max is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 root of I1 I2. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ I'll take ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟೀಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿದಾರಲ್ವಾ, ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗೋಣ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸು. ಐ ಪ್ಲಸ್ 4I ಪ್ಲಸ್ 2 ಇಂಟು ರೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಐ ಇಂಟು 4I ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆಗಿದು 5I ಪ್ಲಸ್ 2 into root of 4I square. So 2 into root of 4I square is 2I square. So 5I plus 2 into 2I ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, 4 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So I max will be, so I max is equal to 9I ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎರಡು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. So I minimum is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 root of, sorry, this will be minus. This is minus. So ಆಗ I plus 4I ಅಂದರೆ 2IA ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ I plus so I plus 4I minus 4I 4I cancel. So I minimum is equal to I ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So option D, 9I and I. I hope you are clear with this. So do you have any doubts? So ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಲ್ವಾ?